What is up, my viewers? Spang here, bringing you yet another World of Tanks gameplay commentary. This is going to be a replay submission from 228 from Anvil. That guy I used to play with a little bit back in the day. I knew him from my Forge days, and I think I knew him even a bit before that, but sometimes after playing this game for so long and with so many people, it's hard to keep the name straight. But Fiery Assailant before the fire. Or after the... Yeah, Prokhorovka existed before Fiery Assailant. Let's be honest here. But it is going to be a standard battle on Prokhorovka. And if I say that wrong, I apologize, but it's just how I say it. He's driving the T-43. Yeah, no, much better than that POS tank. It's going to be the T-34-3, driving up to the center where medium and light tanks often enjoy going. There's going to be minimal artillery per team, despite, well, 3 tier 6 artillery for his team and tier 8 and a tier 6 for the enemy. So it's enough to make you worry, but at the same time, not enough to make you overly concerned. I mean, let's face it, there's no hard-hitting artillery pieces quite in this battle. It's going to be a tier 8 match, which will make him the top tier and give him quite a decent chance at being a valuable team member to his team. The enemy team light tank, that T-21, really just not geared up properly for passive scouting and has no idea who spotted. And now he does, but he might not get a chance to get away with T-21. Ooh, getting a good spot kill on that AMX 12-ton before dying himself. So the T-21 not quite responsible directly for that AMX 12-ton's demise, but possibly the one who spotted him, the ISU 152 on the enemy team, clearly rocking that BL-10 gun, which is a 152 caliber barrel, enough to one-shot that AMX 12-ton. The IS-3, despite seeing the 12-ton absolutely get annihilated on that hill, decides, it's a good idea, I'm going to push up here. Let's give a little bit of noob advice. That's not a good idea. If you see an enemy tank absolutely decimate one of your teammates, you probably shouldn't pull up right beside their dead burning husk and expose yourself the same way they did. Just a friendly piece of advice. Looks like artillery did hit that IS-3, and 228 looking to possibly get some shots on some things over on the 1-2 line. This IS-3 not quite visible. He might be able to get a shot at him underneath some of the rail cars. An enemy T-34-3 looking to move up and possibly take a shot, and they will exchange fire, it looked like, but nothing actually connecting for anyone. The AMX 12-ton still sitting dead, burning. Well, not quite burning. His tank didn't light on fire, but the enemy really not able to do anything about that T-59 on their side of the center hill. Managed to get in the right divot and be safe from whatever enemy tanks would have shots on him. Nothing really spotted on the hill. That's kind of odd. No one really having gone up the hill for 228's team. And right now it is 1-1. Only scout tanks lost for either team. T-150, a tank that is really just outclassed by the tier 8s in this match. Tier 6 and tier 8 tanks really just do not have any sort of real business fighting each other, at least not one-on-one. The T-59 finally getting eliminated. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying I'm kind of surprised it took the enemy team that long to do it. Enemy T-44 on the hill, so the enemy team having decisively taken the hill from... Well, let's face it, no one was up there. There was no resistance, so they get a good firing position now because no one on 228's team went to the hill. Is he partially responsible for that? In a way, I mean, he is a medium tank, so if anyone's going to go up that hill and try and take it off the bat, it is going to be the medium tanks. It's going to be the faster moving vehicles. There are some heavy tanks that can try and take that route, but you really don't want to rely on heavy tanks to try and take that hill. You want to have them there as support, of course, but never as the initial push, because they cannot get there soon enough to give them the positioning advantage. They need to decisively take it. So the enemy team winning 3-5 right now. That IS-3 getting taken out by that T-28 prototype. Again, moving up right where friendly tanks had previously died, even further up than that. So just be aware of where your friendly tanks die and use that knowledge, use their deaths to benefit you. Use that intel to know, hey, I probably shouldn't go here, or, well, they died here, that means I can probably move here and be unhindered. Enemy IS-3 looking like he's going to try and move up. His gun is pointed towards 228, and he's trying to bait a shot at his nearly impenetrable hatch just because of the way it is rounded. Enemy T-28 prototype trying to take a shot, and there we go, IS-3 looking like he will get a hit. That looked like it was Artie. Well, I know it was Artie that tracked him, but I don't know if it was Artie that damaged him. It was quite a bit of damage, and enough to where it could have been the IS-3. The IS-3's average damage being 390, if I recall correctly. So, or is it, oh man, it's been so long since I've actually looked at the average damage of the IS-3. I have one, but I don't play it enough. And even when I do play it, I don't really pay all too much attention. I just know I can do 400 something damage if I roll right. Enemy T-34 looking like he came down off the hill to get better shots and will get away unscathed. 3-7, looking pretty grim for 228 at this point. Enemy artillery sighting in on him, and it's a good thing he is staying on the move. It makes it just that much more difficult for enemy artillery to get a hit on him. That artillery piece of his in the middle of field, Charlie 4, not quite sure if he's going to be safe there for much longer. And on this map, I don't know if I would recommend that even if his team had a good center presence, because all it takes is a scout tank, a medium tank, running up that center line and getting a little bit a wild streak in him to go Leroy Jenkins, and all of a sudden you're lit up and you're exposed and you're probably dead. Enemy E-25, quite a little damage dealer right there, trying to get some shots off and looking like he's shooting at a tank destroyer. 228 looking to possibly get a shot on him, but no, he will back away before that can happen. The enemy team sitting pretty idly by on the 2 line, not wanting to push up it too hard. I can't imagine why. They have a pretty decisive advantage at this point, 4-8. Okay, there we go. A heavy tank pushing up, and this IS-3 looking like he will get hit for damage. A good high roll, too, by 228. That IS-3 looking like he might not be alive for much longer, especially considering his track. 228 about to load, and here we go. Could be a solid hit. Oh, nope. Bouncing off the side. The angle was just not there, and RNG was not in his favor. So the IS-3 looking to get away, and it's up. He may not. Right here could be the kill shot, and 228 a little late on that firing position. The enemy team pushing the railroad got a T-34 trying to take him on, as well as that same T-44 who's been just an annoying pain in his rear side. Right here, going to take another shot on that T-44, making him barely alive. And right here, the T-32 also looking to take shots from the hill. So a good firing position, a good supporting position. Maybe he should be a little further on the front lines, considering he is a heavy tank and he is the top tier. But at the same time, what is moving up on him? That would be the medium tank. That would be the T-24 E something. It's the Super Pershing. We all know it's the Super Pershing. The T-26E4. I'm sorry, I messed that up. But we all knew what it was. And the T-34 barely surviving, so that T-44 is still over there with that T-34. There's a lot of T's and 4s in this match, apparently. But it is a 6-10 difference. T-44 getting a little ballsy, trying to move up and spot enemy artillery. He will get a shot for damage on 228, but not before you know what I mean. Shortly after there, dying before being able to do anything to enemy artillery. And the T-34 getting eliminated by artillery. This IS could be eliminated, but unfortunately 228 led the target just slightly too much, allowing that IS to get close enough to probably spot that ISU and the artillery. But the ISU more than having a big enough gun to finish him off. And yes, the ISU was spotted. The artillery also being spotted, being killed by the enemy ISU 152, and the ISU friendly getting hit for damage. And right here, the T-34 on the enemy team saying his teammates on the 2 line being completely noobish. Those weren't the words he used if you read that, but you know that I was just saying that. Completely, they should have been pushing that line. They knew they had the advantage. They knew there wasn't that much over there, and they could have pushed up and decisively taken it, done a nice pincer move with their teammates on the tracks to solidly eliminate this team. And now they're in danger of losing it, 10-12. Right here, the Super Pershing did manage to kill that tank on the hill, that T-32, so clearly that T-32 not having enough skill to handle a Super Pershing. And I'm not sure I agree with 228 aiming for this German artillery, I mean, not artillery, but tank destroyer, considering it is not the larger threat right now. I apologize. That ISU, I believed him to still be alive, but it looks like the friendly ISU did eliminate him, and he just eliminated that German tank destroyer. So a good amount of teamwork going on here between 228 hanging out in the center, doing a decent job of apparently distracting the enemy team, as well as now he's going to be moving up. He knows that T-28 prototype was last spotted down the 2 line, and he's trying to get as much distance between him and that tank destroyer as possible. He doesn't want to get spotted and shot in the tracks, or even shot for damage, because any sort of damage he takes from that tank destroyer would nearly guarantee that he's a one-shot for enemy artillery. So he's telling him the SP to spot I'm not sure who he's talking to. Oh, SP, Super Pershing. Herder. I should have known that. But anyway, Super Pershing. He's asking the Super Pershing to move up because the Super Pershing still near full health. So this enemy team really in a bad spot right now. They've got to have a lot of teamwork between that tank destroyer and artillery in order to win. But it still could go either way. I mean, oh, enemy artillery clearly having an idea of where 228 is. Fortunately, the shot missing. And the T-28 prototype trying to take a shot as well. There we go. Enemy artillery will land a solid hit. Now 228 is one-shottable for that T-28 prototype. He just has to roll his average damage, which is 400. And that Super Pershing moving to kill artillery. Artillery not being able to do anything about it. There is still that other artillery piece, which is, I guarantee it, zoning in on 228 right now. The T-28 prototype did turn to fire, and if 228 was paying a little bit more attention, and now he realizes it, but he would have probably realized it a bit sooner if he had been a little more aware of what his enemy was doing, but he was definitely more concerned about survival at that point. Finally, the Super Pershing managing to kill that enemy artillery piece, 228 managing to kill that tank destroyer, and the Lorraine killing that Super Pershing, landing a very solid hit on him too. That Super Pershing still had a decent amount of health left, and right now it's pretty much all but over. That ISU getting Top Gun, doing very well, and telling him to snipe. 228 telling the ISU to snipe, be cautious, and just provide him fire support in case the enemy artillery actually comes out of hiding. So 228 definitely one-shottable for this artillery, and I don't know if that ISU is either. Potentially. So it is possible for artillery to win this, but highly, highly unlikely. Artillery looking to get a little ballsy here. I don't know if he's getting ballsy or just running away, but it probably will be the ISU who ends up killing him right here, just judging on the positioning of the vehicles. 228 having barely anything to shoot at. I saw the little bit, and there we go, the Lorraine managing to get a hit, or at least a splash, on that ISU, but not enough to kill him. Trying to stay out of sight, out of the direct line of fire of both enemy vehicles and play the best he can, but let's face facts, it really is over at this point, especially if he comes up over any of those hills. Which 228, I'm not quite sure why he's looking at his ISU right now. There really is no reason for him to be focusing on anything but that artillery piece. The French arty, one thing you got to be cautious about. Ooh, right there. Quick reload. I was just about to say that. He can reload faster than most other artilleries, pretty much every other artillery his tier. So, right there. Excuse me. 228 trying to tell that ISU to come to his side, but a little bit too late for that. This enemy artillery piece definitely capable of killing 228 at this point. Like I said, it was possible, but I didn't think it would actually be this close. That enemy I was gonna say that enemy ISU, but he wasn't enemy. He was enemy to that artillery, but friendly to 228, of course. So right now, this enemy artillery has to play it safe. He has to be cautious, and that's really not quite doing it. Although he probably did get a spot on 228. 228 knows he has to move. He can't just provide him with an easy stationary target. And that Lorraine artillery has exactly the average damage of 228. There we go. He gets exactly the roll he needs, and that is game, set, and match. So, well played overall by both teams. And by that, I mean both teams had a significant number of players who had no idea what they were doing. An equal number of baddies, an equal number of tomatoes, whatever you want to call them, but just people who could not play the game well enough to really let other players shine. Let's face facts. There were good players on both teams who were frustrated with their baddies, but it's because both teams had baddies that those better players could do as well as they did. So overall, 3 kills for 228. A solid performance of him just rolling those center hills the way a medium or light tank is known to do. And if he had gone hill, I don't know how that would have gone for him. It's quite possible if he had some sort of support, he could have taken it, but judging by the number of enemy vehicles spotted up there during the course of the match, it's quite possible he would have been overrun and really just not been able to have been the key player he was at this later stage in the match. And as one of my buddies once told me, you know, the longer a game goes on, the more of a threat medium and light tanks become, because more vehicles die, and that allows you more avenues to flank and move. That allows you to abuse your mobility more. So the later a match goes, the more deadly the faster moving tanks get, because they aren't as restricted in their movement. And we clearly saw that here. But anyway, let's go to those post-game stats and see just how well he did. Okay, so 228, part of the Anvil clan as previously stated. Doing decently well on kills and damages. Some critical hits, but they really weren't too much of a factor. I guess that's spotting damage? Oh yeah, spotting damage. I guess he got quite a bit of that. A decent amount of damage overall. Second highest on his team, but still a far cry from the amount of damage that ISU did. But it was a tier 8 match and he was rocking the BL-10. What else do you expect? The enemy team, ISU, also the top damage dealer, followed by the artillery pieces. So we definitely knew they were pulling their weight, even more so than that. And let's see exactly. Okay, there's the real value right there. In the center, he was definitely doing a lot more than just being a distraction. He was certainly spotting those enemy vehicles. Total damage due to players' assistance, over 3,700. So very impressive right there. Total damage of himself being over 2,700. And a little bit of damage blocked by armor, 390. So definitely a contributor to his survival, considering how little hit points he had there at the end. And total 16 shots fired, 11 direct hits, and 9 penetrations. He would have earned, well, made over 100,000 credits if he was running a premium account. But even without premium account, he still made over 60,000 credits. That's something to be very happy with. And total experience received, 1256 on standard, but 1884 had he been running premium. So overall, very well played, a solid match, just showing more or less how you should be playing a medium tank, always using your mobility to your advantage, and just being aware of what the enemy team is doing. You know, he saw where those enemy tanks were, and he was doing his damnedest to not get, killed in the same place his teammates were. He was doing a very good job of that, having a good general situational awareness of the map, and just solid gameplay all around. But anyway, if you like this video, click that like button. If you want to see more, subscribe. And if you got a replay, be sure to check the description below for instructions on how to submit it. And until next time, this has been Spang, and I am signing off.
Yeah!